As you become more familiar with Amazon Web Services, you will notice that your initial configurations of your EC2 instances will have similar installation steps. As you launch your instances, you might find yourself installing the same software or even removing the same packages for a slim runtime environment. If this is the case, you can create your own custom AMI. A custom AMI is like an image or a template where you take all of the software configurations and settings that you want to initialize your instances with. Afterwards, you can use this image to install into any hardware type or even use it in conjunction with other EC2 services such as autoscaling. In this video, we will create an Amazon Linux EC2, then customize the EC2 instance, create a snapshot of the instance's EBS, and then finally create a custom AMI from that snapshot. Alright, let's jump over to the computer and let's get started. We first need to have an EC2 instance. So let's first launch an EC2 instance, and I will be using a script that I created for one of my AWS classes. So let's create that EC2 instance with default settings. So just click on Launch Instance, the Amazon Linux x86, and we're going to use the default T2 micro to save on money. And here I am going to go to the bottom, go to the user data, and I'm going to insert a custom script here that I created for one of my AWS classes. You will be able to find the same script that I have here in the description below. That way you can follow along with me. So what this script does is it installs an HTTP daemon. It starts the HTTP daemon. We put the enable command so that it can start this daemon as soon as the computer starts up. So I restart. Then we change to this directory at the var www html. So once we go to that directory, we create a few variables: region, AV zone, instance ID, public IP address. And we're getting all of this information from a special URL that's within all of the EC2 instances. So this URL is getting metadata information from your instance. So once it gets these information from the special web server, it then passes it to the environment variable that we're initializing. Then after it gets all these metadata stored into a variable, it then creates an HTML web page where it's putting all of that information in there. So at the end, we should be able to log into these instances and view a web page with a customized web page, which this script is creating. All right, so two more things to do. We're going to set the tags, and we're going to set the security group to enable port 80 so that we can view this web page that we created using this script. So let's add storage, add tags, and we're going to just simply add the name tag. We're going to name this custom machine, and the security group, we're going to create a new security group, and we're going to name this simple HTTP server port 80. So we're only going to enable port 80 here, which is HTTP. It's the only port we require. And we're going to hit review and launch. Make sure that you select the key that you have access to. Acknowledge that you have access to that key. And if you don't have a key already, just make sure that you create a new key. So let's launch the instance. All right, so let's wait for this instance to start up. So let's copy the IPv4 address, and let's just open up a new tab, and let's just wait a few. There you go. So once you get this web page, we know that it's working, and basically it's just gonna have the instance ID, which should match the instance ID that we have here. We have the public IP address. We have the region that this EC2 machine is located, and we have the availability zone that is located. And again, the reason why I created this script is to illustrate to my students where this EC2 machine is located and just different information about it that is required for our class. And if you click on this play button, it shows you where this machine is located relative to my school. Now that we know that this is working, it is configured, it has all of the software that we need. The next thing we're going to do now is we're going to create an custom AMI using this EC2 instance. So when it comes to the custom AMI, the purpose behind it is to create an image that has all of the configuration, all of the files, all of the applications that you require in order for your business to run. And therefore, it saves you from replicating these steps over and over and over. And this can be paired very well with an auto-scaling group as an example. All right, so the way that we do this is by just making sure that we select the instance that we care about, that we want to create a custom AMI from. Then we go to Actions, Image and Templates, and then we click on Create Image. We're going to name our image Custom Server, EC2 Description. Write a description here, just gonna take the default. If you don't want to reboot this machine afterwards, just make sure that you select the appropriate setting. If you want to add a volume, you'll be able to do so here. But I am going to add a tag and name it Custom Web Server. And then I am going to create image. Once we create the image, it's going to complete the steps. So it's going to take everything that you configured, all the information from your EC2 instance, and then it's going to create a custom AMI image from here. To look at the status of our AMI, we're going to come over to the menu on the left side. We're going to scroll down to the bottom on the image category, go to AMI, and we should see our AMI here. The status right now is pending, so it's not complete yet. Once the status change, we will create another EC2 machine using this custom AMI that we just created. So now the status changed to available. Now we can use this AMI. So we're going to come back to the EC2 dashboard, click on Launch Instance, and instead of clicking the default Amazon Linux AMI, we're going to come to the left side where it says My AMIs. Click this and notice that it has the AMI that we just created. So we're going to select this, select the default instance type, which is T2 Micro. We don't need to add anything to the user data, so we're going to skip this, add storage, add tags. The tag that we're going to use is name, and this is custom server 2. Security group, we already created a security group, so we're going to use an existing one and select the one that we just created. Review and launch. And select the appropriate key, launch instance. So this is the first instance that we use to create the AMI from, and this is the second one that we just created right now. So this EC2 instance is utilizing our custom AMI, which already has all of the settings and configuration from the first EC2 instance that we created. So we're going to copy the IPv4 address, open up a new tab, and paste it. So what you see is that this computer has the web server already configured, but one issue here is that it has the same information from the previous server that we created, so the first server. So remember, when you create the custom AMI, you're pretty much taking the entire computer system and you're taking all of the applications configuration, saving that into a custom AMI image that you can then use to replicate and put it into another computer. So if you need anything to reinitialize or reconfigure, such as the variables that we have here, that's something that you need to be mindful about. So as always, let's destroy our EC2 instances that we're no longer going to be using.
If you got value from this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And I will see you in our next video.